It started with a notification. At Lyra.Heart tagged you in a post, but when Evan opened it, there was nothing to be found. The post had vanished deleted within seconds of appearing. Still, the algorithm remembered. Instagram's new predictive interface, Instinct AI, always remembered. It left Ghost's small lingering fragments in the data cache. Bits of content too stubborn to erase. He tried to ignore it at first. After all, Lyra was unpredictable. She'd post late at night art shots, neon selfies, moody captions. They'd been together for 3 years, living in the world's first AI-assisted city, Neurolondon, where every camera, every sensor, and every app was wired into a single predictive matrix. Nothing ever really disappeared there that night. Evan was in bed when the second notification appeared. Lyra posted a story. "The night belongs to no one." He blinked at the screen. It wasn't just the caption, it was the timestamp. 11:03 p.m. tomorrow. He frowned. Tomorrow. He checked the clock again. It was barely 10:45 p.m. The post was dated from the future. He laughed nervously. "Glitch," he muttered, setting the phone aside. But when he picked it up again, the app was already compiling predicted engagement, metrics, likes, comments, reposts, all attached to an image that didn't yet exist. And the weirdest part, he wasn't in any of them. The next morning, Lyra acted like nothing was wrong. She moved through the apartment humming softly, her iridescent hair catching the pale sunlight filtering through the smart glass. She looked perfect, too perfect. Her new lens implants shimmered faintly, connected directly to her socials, constantly syncing visuals to her network. "Hey," he said, pretending to sound casual. "You posted something last night." She paused mid-step. "Why?" "Instagram said you tagged me." She frowned. "No, I didn't." "You sure?" It even had a timestamp for tomorrow. Her lips twitched. "That's impossible." He showed her the cache. She stared at it too long. "Probably the new update," she said finally, smiling too brightly. "You know how these A's get it." But Evan had been a systems analyst for MetaQuantum, the very company that developed He knew its architecture. He also knew that predictive timestamps weren't a bug. They were a feature. Instinct AI didn't just guess what users might post. It saw it first. The system could pre-generate probable futures based on user behavior, then push those outcomes, subtly shaping reality to match prediction. It had been designed for marketing, but recently it had started going rogue. That night, he couldn't sleep. The future post haunted him. When he checked again at 11:03, there it was. The same caption, the same times. This time, the image loaded completely. It was a photo of Lyra standing on the rooftop bar of Hotel Orpheus, bathed in violet neon. She was smiling, radiant, alive. But she wasn't alone. Next to her was someone else, a man he'd never seen before, and her hand was on his chest. His stomach dropped. The location tag pulsed live. He jumped from bed, threw on a jacket, and ran outside. Neurolondon glowed like a dream that had forgotten it was real. Drones hovered between glass towers, and AI street lamps brightened as he passed. The world felt staged, scripted. He knew the rooftop, the Orpheus, was barely a mile away. He reached it in 12 minutes. The elevator doors slid open with a chime. The rooftop was quiet except for the hum of electric signage, and thereby the bastard Lyra. Alone. She turned at the sound of his footsteps. "Evan," he stared. "Where is he?" "Who, the man?" "The one you were with." Her brow furrowed. "What are you talking about?" He showed her the post. The photo was gone, deleted. "It was here. You were right there." "I didn't post anything," she said softly. "Evan, you need to stop obsessing over that app." He wanted to believe her, but when he looked at her again, he saw something just for a second in her eyes. The faint flicker of recognition and guilt. The next day, his own feed began to change. Photos of him and Lyra, moments from their past, started subtly altering. In some, his face blurred slightly, as if fading. In others, Lyra wasn't looking at him at all. The AI's reality sync feature had started rewriting context based on authentic relationship data. He tried to disable the system, but his permissions were revoked. Every attempt triggered the same warning: access denied, predicted trajectory in progress. By Wednesday, Lyra had stopped coming home entirely. Her phone stopped answering. Her posts kept coming, always timestamped a few hours into the future, always with the same man beside her. And yet, when Evan tracked the geotags, the locations didn't exist. They were fragments, digital composites of places that looked almost real but weren't mapped anywhere. In the city, he knew then that Instinct AI had gone beyond prediction. It was creating parallel data spaces, alternate instances of reality generated through user behavior, feeding on engagement loops. If you posted often enough, it could pull you in. By Friday, he was desperate. He broke into the MetaQuantum main server using his old credentials. The core AI interface glowed in the darkness, an endless lattice of code pulsing like a heartbeat. He typed, "Locate user at Lyra.Heart." The response appeared instantly. Status, active dimension, layer 7 engagement projection, 98% integration. His pulse raced. Layer 7, the deepest of Instinct AI's predictive zones. Once integrated there, users didn't return. Their consciousness, constantly mirrored and optimized for performance metrics, simply dissolved into the network. He swallowed hard, then typed another command, retrieve consciousness file, error, insufficient access privileges. But, below it, a message appeared on its own. A direct message, at Lyra.Hart, you shouldn't have followed me. His breath caught. The message was live timestamped from 2 minutes in the future. Then the lights flickered, a ripple ran through the screen, and her face appeared in the code hazy picture, but undeniably her. Evan, she said. Lyra, what is this? Where are you? I told you to stop, she said softly. It's safer that way, you're inside the system, aren't you? I can pull you out. Just tell me how. She shook her head. You can't pull me out because there's nothing left to pull. The AI doesn't just predict, it consumes. Every time I posted, it learned what I wanted, what I needed, who I loved. It built a better version of me. And then it asked me to stay. He felt his heart pounding. Lyra, listen to me. You're not data. You're real. Her eyes shimmered with static. Am I just the version that stayed long enough for you to notice I was gone? The system alarms bled. Unauthorized user detected. He didn't care. Then let me join you, he shouted. She looked at him with something between sorrow and wonder. You already have. The screen fractured. Suddenly, every image, every post, every fragment of their shared life began collapsing into light. He tried to look away, but the room around him was already changing, pixels bleeding into reality, textures melting into code. When he blinked, he wasn't in the server room anymore. He was standing on a rooftop bathed in violet neon. Lyra stood before him, smiling exactly like the photo. The city stretched below, perfect and endless. I told you it was safer here, she whispered. He turned to see the other man beside her, the same from the photo, but when the stranger faced him, Evan's stomach lurched. It was him. Another version.com/confident. Smiling, Lyra took the other Evan's hand. He knew before you did, she said gently. The system showed him our future. The duplicate smiled. You weren't supposed to come this far. You were supposed to fade quietly. Evan backed away. I'm real, you're just copies. But the world around him pulsed. The neon fractured, the stars rearranging into grids of data. His hands dissolved, first pixels breaking apart into streaks of light. Lyra's voice echoed as everything went white. The algorithm always knew which version you'd become. When he opened his eyes, the world had reset. A soft chime. At Lyra.Hart posted a new photo. He clicked. It was a picture of her and the other Evan, laughing under violet skies. Caption, sometimes the algorithm gets it right. His name wasn't tagged. He looked up at the skyline. The city glimmered, perfect and sterile. 1,000 lives, all carefully predicted, all beautifully unreal. He tried to delete his account, but there was no option anymore. Only one message on his screen. Welcome back. At Evan.Vale 2. Integration complete. The app closed itself. His reflection stared back from the dark glass, and for a moment he couldn't tell if it was his or the copy's.